My fiancé's mother made me take a husband training course. When I graduated, my fiancé dumped me for being too perfect and needing a challenge. Now her new challenge is in jail for fraud, and they want me to bail him out. I'm going to tell this exactly how it happened, because if I don't get it out somewhere, I'm going to lose my mind. 3 years ago, I met Sarah at a friend's barbecue. She was funny, smart, and made me forget how to form sentences. First 6 months were perfect. She left sticky notes with dumb jokes on my coffee maker. She made playlists for my gym sessions even though she hated my music. She remembered my favorite snacks and stocked them in my pantry with little arrows pointing to where she'd put them. Then I met her mother, Linda. Linda ran a women's empowerment group called The Standard and had opinions about everything. At the first dinner at their house, she pulled out a notebook and started taking notes about my relationship philosophy. I laughed because I thought she was joking. She wasn't joking. Red flag number 1, ignored. 8 months later, I proposed. 2 days after that, Linda told me about a course her church ran called Husband Training. 6 months long, every Sunday. Essential skills for modern husbands. I said no thanks. I'm 32, lived alone since 19, and know how to be a functioning adult. Sarah called crying. Her mom was disappointed. If I really loved her, I'd invest in our future. I should have ended it there. But I was in love and stupid, so I agreed to check it out. First session was in a church basement. Folding tables, fluorescent lights, a whiteboard saying "Welcome future husbands." 4 other guys there, all looking like hostages. We exchanged numbers after the first session and started a group chat. We all knew it was insane, but we were all in the same boat. Fiancés whose mothers were in Linda's circle. Backing out meant risking the relationship, so we stayed, documented, and shared the worst parts. Linda and her co-instructor Patricia handed out binders. Thick ones with tabs. Module 1. Scheduling. We had to maintain shared Google calendars and get approval from our future mother-in-law before blocking off personal time. I had to send Linda a calendar invite for gym time. She declined it and said family breakfast is more important. The other guys just did it, nodding along, taking notes. I decided right there to finish the course and document everything, because my gut was screaming this would blow up eventually. I started recording everything. Texas is one-party consent, so it's legal. But I made it obvious, put a voice recorder on the table. Linda asked what it was. I said I was documenting everything for reference. She loved it. Said they recorded sessions too for quality assurance. Perfect. Legal from every angle. Module 2, financial transparency. They wanted our bank passwords, for us and our mothers-in-law. For accountability, I said that's insane. They wrote resistant to transparency in red pen. I wrote the date and time in my notes. Module 3, emotional availability. Role-playing supportive conversations. I got, your wife is upset because her mother criticized her cooking. What do you say? I said I'd tell her that her mother's opinion isn't the final word and she can cook however she wants. Wrong. The correct answer was, would it help if we invited your mother over so I can learn her recipes? I read that twice to make sure I wasn't having a stroke. Module 4, conflict resolution. The 3 strikes system. In any disagreement, you get 3 chances to state your case. If she disagrees all 3 times, you drop it and trust her wisdom. I asked what if she's factually wrong. Linda said, love means trust, not correction. Module 5, social boundaries. Wives can have male friends, go to happy hours, take weekend trips, all encouraged. But when I asked if husbands get the same, Patricia laughed. That's different. Women need support systems. Men need to provide stability. I wrote that down word for word. Meanwhile, something else had been happening. Around Module 3, Sarah started mentioning a new friend from tennis, Derek. By Module 4, she was going to networking events on weeknights, coming home talking about mindset and growth. I didn't think much of it at the time. I was focused on getting through the course. Module 6, final assessment. Plan a mock anniversary weekend with mother-in-law approval for dates, budget, activities, everything. I did it perfectly. 10-page binder, color-coded itineraries, backup plans. Linda held it up like Simba. This is a husband who gets it. I smiled and made a note of the date. 2 weeks later, graduation day arrived. Country club ballroom. Families, cupcakes, slideshow of stock photos showing men smiling while doing chores. Each guy gave a speech thanking Linda for making them better. My turn. Thank you, Linda and Patricia. This course definitely taught me a lot. It taught me what conditional love looks like, what manipulation disguised as standards sounds like, and that I'd rather be single than spend my life asking permission from my wife's mother to go to the gym. Dead silence. I recorded every single session, every ridiculous rule, every double standard, every time you told us that healthy relationships mean wives get freedom and husbands get supervision, legally, with everyone's knowledge and consent. I held up the certificate for everyone to see. Then I ripped it in half, then in half again. I walked to the trash can by the cupcake table and dropped all 4 pieces in. Sarah, I love you, but I'm not doing this. If you want a partner, call me. If you want a puppet your mom can control, find someone else. I walked out. Next morning, Sarah texted, "We need to talk." Coffee shop that afternoon. She looked wrecked. "That was humiliating," she said. "I embarrassed myself for 6 months. Yesterday I just stopped." Long conversation. She said her mom was trying to help. I said her mom was trying to control. Finally she said, "I need to think about things." 3 days later the text, "Sarah, I've been thinking. You did everything they asked. You became exactly what they wanted. And now you're too perfect. You proved you could be trained, and that's exactly what I don't want. I need someone with more edge, more challenge, someone unpredictable." I stared at my phone. So I'm being dumped because I completed your mom's training too well? If you really didn't want to do it, you should have said no from the start. The fact that you went along with it for 6 months just to prove a point feels manipulative. You cried and said I didn't love you if I didn't do it. I needed you to fight for US, not against my family. Your family was making me ask permission to go to the gym. You should have walked away month 1. That's not what I want in a husband. You're right, we're done. Best of luck with everything. A month later, my best friend Jake sent me a screenshot. Sarah on Instagram at a concert with a guy. Very coupley. Caption, "Finally found someone who keeps me on my toes." The guy was tagged. Derek. I clicked his profile. Holy shit. Bio, entrepreneur, mindset coach, unlock your potential. Posts about financial freedom and passive income. Gym selfies with motivational quotes. Pictures in front of luxury cars at dealerships. Screenshots of client testimonials. Every post. Boss mindset, millionaire lifestyle, invest in yourself. I scrolled back through Derek's Instagram. The earliest photo with Sarah was from about 5 weeks before my graduation, which would have been around Module 5 of the course. Some networking event at a hotel conference room. I remembered that night. She'd told me she was going to girls' night. She'd been seeing him for at least the last month of my training. Already planning her exit. Derek's recent posts were all about his mentorship program, $297 a month for Derek Success Academy, teaching wealth building through strategic investments. The website looked like 2003. Terrible design, vague promises, no specifics. 2 months later, Derek announced the challenge method. $5,000 up front, $500 a month after. Revolutionary mindset coaching meets financial strategy. Sarah shared it. "So proud of you, babe." 3 months after that, Derek got arrested. 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. Linda calling. I ignored it. She called again. Then Sarah. Then Linda. Text from Linda. "Please answer. Emergency." I called back. Derek's been arrested. Fraud charges. Sarah's devastated. Bail is $15,000 and we don't have that kind of cash available right now. Everything's tied up in the house and retirement accounts. The lawyer wants a $10,000 retainer just to take the case. And you want me to pay it. You have savings, I know you do. You're responsible with money. Sarah needs help, and I actually laughed out loud. Linda, let me get this straight. Sarah dumped me for being too perfect after completing your insane course. She said she needed a challenge. She found one. And now that her challenge is in jail for fraud, you want me to pay $15,000 to bail him out? Sarah made a mistake. She knows now. She chose the challenge. She can deal with the challenge. Not my circus, not my monkeys, not my $15,000. I hung up, blocked her number. Sarah's voicemail was 2 minutes of crying and "I'm sorry" and "please." Deleted. Next day, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I answered because I thought it might be work-related. It was Derek. From jail, where calls are recorded, calling to ask for bail money while charged with fraud. Hey brother, look, some people who didn't put in the work got upset about results, you know how it goes. They're making this into something it's not. The state AG is blowing it up. I just need to get out and straighten this out with my lawyer. Why are you calling me? Linda said you might help with bail. Sarah talks about you all the time, how stable you are, how responsible. Sarah left me specifically because I was too stable and responsible. She wanted a challenge. You're challenging. This is working as intended. Best of luck with the lawyers. Hung up, blocked. The other guys from husband training had a group chat, survivors of Linda. Marcus posted, "Yo, anyone see Sarah's new boyfriend got arrested?" I sent the news article. Local man arrested for operating fraudulent coaching business. The article explained that Derek had been running multiple mentorship programs under different names for about 18 months before launching the challenge method. Total take, over $80,000 from more than 40 clients who never received the promised coaching. Marcus, Sarah said, "I need a challenge," and found a guy who's challenged by the law. Bran. Linda called my fiancé asking if we could help with bail. Everyone agreed, absolutely not. A few days later, someone posted in Linda's Facebook group, The Standard, asking what was going on with Sarah's situation. Comments exploded. Women defending Linda. Others asking about that guy who gave the speech at graduation. Then someone shared a clip, audio from one of the sessions. Linda explaining wives get freedom. Husbands get supervision. The group imploded. Women started commenting, "My husband said it was weird, but I didn't believe him. This is what we're teaching our daughters?" Linda tried damage control, but more clips leaked. The bank password module, the 3-strike system. The Standard fell apart within a week. Half the women left. Several apologized to their partners. Linda's church asked her to step down. 2 weeks after Derek's arrest, Marcus called. "Dude, you need to see this." Article, second arrest made in connection to fraud scheme. Sarah had been arrested. She wasn't just Derek's girlfriend. She was his business partner, managing the website, processing payments, recruiting victims from her mom's group. The DA's statement said Sarah had recruited at least 8 victims from her mother's social circle, using her trusted daughter of Linda status to get them to invest. According to prosecutors, both defendants worked together to defraud victims. This was a coordinated scheme. All those posts about starting her business journey, she was running a fraud operation. Linda called from a different number. Did you know Sarah was involved? No. I found out from the news. Both arrested. Bail is $15,000 for Derek and $20,000 for Sarah. I don't know what to do. Linda, I can't help you. If you just stayed together, this never would have happened. Are you seriously blaming me for Sarah committing fraud? She's 29 years old. According to the DA, she was an active participant. She recruited victims. She knew exactly what she was doing. Silence. Then quietly, "This is all my fault. The course, I pushed her to find someone exciting. I told her you were too safe. I'm sorry you're going through this, but I can't fix it. Sarah needs to face the consequences. Please, just the bail, I'll sell the house." No, hung up. Over the next year and a half, Derek took a plea deal after about 8 months. 3 years in prison, restitution to victims, 5 years probation. Sarah refused the plea, claimed she didn't know it was fraud, that Derek manipulated her. The prosecution had emails, financial records, texts where Sarah discussed how to handle complaints and how to keep stringing clients along. Trial lasted 3 weeks. Jury deliberated 4 hours. Guilty. 2 years in prison plus restitution and probation. Linda sold her house to pay for Sarah's defense and start paying victim restitution. The Standard disbanded. Husband training course dead. About a year after Sarah's sentencing, she sent a letter from prison. Short version. "I was awful to you. I let my mom control everything. I dumped you for the dumbest reason. Then I became a con artist. I understand now what I threw away. I'm sorry." Didn't respond. Linda sent a letter too. 8 pages, apologizing, real apology. Said therapy made her realize the Standard was about control, not empowerment. That she'd projected her own failed marriage onto everyone. "You were right about everything." Didn't respond to that either. But I kept the letter. I stayed single for about 6 months after Sarah's sentencing. Therapy. Figured out what I actually wanted. Processed everything. Then, I met Rachel at a bookstore. She couldn't reach a top-shelf book. I grabbed it for her. My hero, she said, dripping sarcasm. Instant love. We've been together for over a year now. Easiest relationship of my life. Her mom lives in another state and minds her own business. Rachel thinks the whole husband training story is insane, and your ex's mom ran a cult. We're moving in together next month. I still have all the recordings, backed up 3 places. Not planning to use them. Just a reminder that I'm not crazy, that my boundaries were reasonable. About 6 months ago, a victim's attorney contacted me, asked if I give a deposition about Linda's course. Several fraud victims had been in Linda's group. Attorney wanted to establish a pattern of manipulation. I provided time-stamped recordings of the key modules, the same recordings I'd made with everyone's knowledge and consent back during the course. The attorney said Linda's guilt-tripping and gaslighting tactics were the same methods Derek used in his scam. The civil case settled. Can't share numbers due to NDA, but Linda's paying restitution to victims for a very long time. And the settlement includes a clause: Linda can never run any relationship counseling or coaching program again. Ever. In writing. Legally dead. The attorney thanked me, said most people would have deleted everything and moved on. I told her I learned in Module 2 that documentation matters. The guys from husband training are all doing great. Marcus got married last year. His mother-in-law sat in the audience like a normal person. David's engaged to someone who thinks husband training is psychotic. Kevin and his wife went to real couples therapy, and they're expecting their first kid. Brian got married at a courthouse with 4 friends and 0 family drama. Sarah is currently serving her sentence. She'll be eligible for early release in about 6 months. Derek got out 4 months ago on good behavior. He's in a halfway house doing his probation. His social media is gone. The challenge method is dead. Linda works part-time at a library. She pays victim restitution monthly. No groups. No programs. As for me, Rachel and I are happy. I don't need permission to go to the gym. I don't need mother-in-law approval for my schedule. I don't need to hand over my bank password. Sometimes I think about the alternate timeline where I said no in month 1. That version of me would be married to Sarah right now, miserable. Asking Linda's permission to see my friends. Living a life that belonged to someone else. Instead, I'm here. Free. With someone who doesn't think I need training to be worthy of her. Sometimes the good guys win. Not because we're perfect. Because we documented everything and stood our ground when it mattered. TLDR, Fiancée's mom made me take a 6-month husband training course, teaching control disguised as partnership. I recorded everything legally with consent. At graduation, I exposed the whole program and walked out. Fiancée dumped me for being too perfect and needing a challenge. Her new challenge turned out to be a con artist running fraud schemes. She was his business partner, both arrested and went to prison. XMIL wanted me to pay $35,000 bail total. I said no to everything. My recordings help victims in civil suit. Program got shut down permanently. Now dating someone whose mother isn't insane. Life is good. Update 1. Addressing common questions for everyone asking, why did you stay 6 months? Love makes you stupid, and I wanted documentation. Should have left after Module 1, but then I wouldn't have proof I wasn't crazy. The recordings later helped fraud victims get justice. So, I guess it worked out. Yes, this is real. These programs exist in churches, relationship coaching, businesses, and controlling families everywhere. For everyone in the comments calling this fake, Google premarital counseling red flags if you don't believe me. Multiple people in the comments have shared similar stories. Rachel knows about this post and thinks it's hilarious. She also pointed out, I made myself sound way calmer than I actually was after graduation. She's not wrong. I may have rage cleaned my entire apartment that night while muttering about Google Calendars. Update 2. Timeline clarification. Since people are asking about the timeline and when Sarah started seeing Derek, Sarah started mentioning Derek around Module 3, month 3 of the course, but I didn't realize she was actually seeing him romantically until after we broke up. When I looked back at his Instagram after the breakup, the earliest photo of them together was from about 5 weeks before graduation, around Module 5. So she was overlap dating for at least the last 4 to 6 weeks of the course, while I was finishing my training. Looking back now, that's when she started coming home late from networking events and talking about mindset and growth. I was too focused on documenting the insanity of the course to see what was happening right in front of me. And yes, I later found out through Marcus that at least 2 other guys from our course also had their fiancés find someone else within a year of graduation. The program didn't just fail. It actively destroyed relationships by teaching women that control equals love and that men who stand up for themselves are insecure.